In nature, compassion is a dangerous currency. In Kadipo Valley National Park, when a desperate mother elephant sought help, a female ranger gambled everything. She saved its calf, but then the elephant did something terrible. Something no one could have predicted. Our story begins on a scorching afternoon. The air was suffocating and heavy, but something worse was coming. From the horizon, a giant wall of red dust rolled in, signaling a devastating sandstorm. In that harsh world, a brutal scene of nature was unfolding. A massive African rock python, coiled tightly, was suffocating a weak elephant calf. The small, cracking sound of bones, muffled with each squeeze, was the sound of utter despair. The mother elephant, with eyes red from rage and fear, tried to push the python away with her trunk, but each swing only made the predator tighten its grip. The python was a wall of muscle and cold patience. The mother elephant could only confront it with the despair of a broken heart. The mother elephant's desperate efforts yielded no results. With each passing minute, the calf's life force drained away. After a moment of stumbling and trying, the mother realized her physical strength was not enough. A painful, unbelievable decision formed in her mind. Instead of continuing the hopeless fight, she turned her back. It was not giving up, but rather seeking another path, a final glimmer of hope before the storm swallowed everything. For a mother elephant, the decision to abandon her endangered calf is a silent torture. In the world of elephants, the survival of the herd depends on unity, and for a lone mother to run off in a panic is almost unthinkable. But here, amidst the harshness of Kadipo Valley, the mother elephant had no other choice. Her heart hammered inside her giant chest, a drum of desperation. Each step she took away from her calf was a deep cut into her soul, but she knew she had to find a miracle. She ran, her huge body stumbling on the arid ground, leaving behind a thin cloud of dust. Her eyes were sharp, looking ahead with intense focus, heading toward the trail where she had just seen something unusual. Sarah was driving her patrol vehicle, looking for a shady spot to avoid the approaching sandstorm. She had spent decades observing nature, but she had never seen such a bizarre sight. A lone mother elephant was running toward her. At first, she thought the elephant was in a panic, but as it got closer, she saw something unusual in its behavior. The elephant did not seem aggressive or afraid. It stopped a few meters from the vehicle, breathing heavily. It slowly raised its trunk and gently touched the door of her car, a gesture full of respect and pleading. Sarah could feel its pain and desperation. It shook its head, then used its trunk to point in a specific direction, decisively and clearly. It was not a random gesture. In its deep eyes, she saw a silent plea, a request that only the heart could understand. Sarah sat motionless, fighting an internal battle. Her heart told her that something terrible was happening, but her mind warned her of the risks. She was a woman alone in the wilderness. Wild elephants are dangerous, and this elephant's actions were completely outside of any rules she had ever known. But then, the mother elephant's bravery convinced her. It had taken the biggest risk, placing its fate in the hands of a human. Sarah's decision was not impulsive. It was the result of a lifetime of learning to listen to the silent voice of nature. She restarted the car. The mother elephant stood there, watching her carefully. When it saw the car slowly moving, it turned and began to run, occasionally stopping to look back to make sure Sarah was still following. Its trunk was now not for attacking, but for guiding, for urging her on. Her belief in a strange bond between them became stronger than ever. She followed the elephant, her heart pounding with a mix of fear, determination, and an intense conviction that she was on her way to a place where another living being needed her help more than anything. When Sarah arrived, she witnessed a scene so horrifying it was almost unreal. The air was scorching, filled with the smell of dust and the metallic scent of primal fear. She stopped her vehicle a short distance away, her heart pounding so hard she could feel every beat reverberating in her chest. In the middle of the barren valley, a massive African rock python, coiled tightly, was suffocating the elephant calf. Each of its coils was a death sentence, executed with unbelievable power. Sarah heard the faint crunching of the calf's bones, a tragic sound muffled under the predator's weight. To make matters worse, from a distance, the chilling howls of a hyena pack were approaching. They had smelled blood and were looking for an easy feast. Sarah knew she only had a few minutes. She leaped out of the car, grabbed a hard, dry log, and ran toward the struggle without thinking. The instinct of a protector overrode all fear. She used all her strength to pry the python off the calf, but its grip was too strong. The log broke in two, one half falling to the ground, and the python tightened its squeeze even more, as if angered by the disturbance. It raised its head, opened its wide mouth to reveal sharp teeth, and lunged at Sarah.
No!
She quickly backed away, her heart pounding, a cold sensation running down her spine, not from fear, but from despair. She couldn't fight such a powerful creature. Her eyes scanned the car, desperately looking for a solution. She had no gun, no special tools, only the old car and basic supplies. Suddenly, she saw a small fire extinguisher mounted on the vehicle. A crazy idea, but also the only glimmer of hope flashed in her mind. She grabbed the fire extinguisher, pulled the safety pin, and ran toward the python. Each step was a gamble. She aimed for the python's head and body, spraying a stream of cold CO2 gas. The cold gas immediately enveloped the snake, creating a misty white cloud in the hot air. At first, the extinguisher seemed stuck, only releasing a few weak jets of gas, making Sarah's heart stop. The python's rage became more apparent. It began to thrash violently. But then, with a hiss, the cold gas sprayed out powerfully. The bone-chilling cold paralyzed its muscles. The squeeze loosened and then completely released. The python let go of the calf, gave a final twitch, and slithered away quickly, disappearing into the bushes like a ghost. The dust had settled, but the emotional storm was still there. The calf was free, but it was still trembling and exhausted. Both mother and calf were in a state of extreme tension. In the chaotic moment after their escape, the overwhelming fear caused the mother elephant to panic. Disoriented and out of control of her actions, she backed away violently, hitting Sarah's car, cracking the windshield and denting a part of the body. A few seconds later, she realized what she had done, let out a sad groan, and backed away. For Sarah, this was a moment of confusion. Was this the gratitude she was getting in return? But instead of backing away, Sarah remained calm. She was not angry or afraid. She understood that this was not a hostile act, but a manifestation of psychological trauma. With patience and absolute compassion, Sarah gently approached the calf. She did not rush or touch it immediately. She just stood there, silently showing the mother elephant that her kindness had not changed. The mother elephant slowly moved closer, using her trunk to check on the calf, then looked up at Sarah. In her deep eyes, there was no longer panic, but a clear recognition and profound gratitude. And then, the miracle happened. The mother elephant gently approached Sarah. She slowly extended her trunk, not to attack, but to touch her. The soft tip of her trunk lightly brushed Sarah's hand, then moved up to her shoulder. It was a subtle touch, a gesture that was almost a hug, as if it was trying to convey all the emotions it could not put into words. This was a reward more precious than any title or prize. It was a magical moment, a wordless thank you, a silent promise that kindness will always be reciprocated, even in the most difficult circumstances. This story doesn't end with a heroic victory roar. It ends with a gentle whisper of peace. After ensuring the calf was stable, Sarah contacted the ranger team. They quickly arrived and took the mother and calf to a safe sanctuary, where they would be cared for and monitored. The next day, Sarah visited the two elephants. She found them relaxing by a clear blue lake, a stark contrast to the desolate image of Kadipo Valley. The mother and calf were submerging themselves in the water, enjoying the coolness and tranquility. This was not just survival. It was healing. Seeing that scene, Sarah felt a deep sense of relief. She understood. The bump was not hatred, but an expression of pain and extreme pain. The bond between them became deeper as she understood that even after being saved, psychological trauma still exists. It proved that connection is not just about help, but also about understanding and forgiveness. This story is not just about a woman saving an elephant. It is about a single act of compassion that changed a life, and in turn, also changed how we view the world. It reminds us that empathy is a universal language, and our greatest strength is not our ability to dominate nature, but our willingness to connect with it. This world can be harsh, but a single act of kindness can create an oasis in the dusty desert. And that is a story worth telling. If this story has touched your heart, imagine what we can do when we act together. Subscribe to our channel to become a part of a community that believes in kindness and connection. And to continue our journey, click here to see how a small group of people are fighting to save one of the most endangered species on Earth.